Alright, what they're doing now is they're getting that big yellow piece of equipment into place so they can get the house back up to level again. So they dug a little pit in order to make sure it could get under. And now they're going down. Alright, now they're just double checking, make sure everything's okay. So when they Alright, so they're getting all the wood and everything so they can get the jack into place. Alright, I literally cannot see anything because the sun is behind me, so hopefully the camera is good. So, alright, let me pause it, then when they start moving, I'll turn it back on. Alright, it's moving slowly but surely. See, oh, I can see the camera again, yay! Alright, let me zoom in a little bit. Alright, so they're moving it up just a little bit at a time. You know, as heavy as these things are, you wouldn't want to move it up too fast. So it looks like it was the back corner that failed. So I don't know. I don't think they had it properly supported. And when the wheels came off, what little bit was supporting it couldn't handle the load and it failed. But luckily, these houses, you know, they're not intended for this, but you know, at least I wasn't going down the highway at like 50 miles an hour and one of the wheels blow and then the thing goes. So it's not ideal, but I don't think it's going to hurt anything, but we shall see. Alright, looks like they got it almost back level again. Oh, now they're telling it to go down. So, alright, looks like they got it back level again. They're getting the jack out of there. So originally figured they'd be halfway done by now, but they had a little setback. But I'm sure this happens probably more often than not. They probably don't want to admit it happens, but obviously it does. Because after they figured out that nobody got injured, then they were just trying to figure, it's like, all right, it happened, let's figure out how to get it back level again. So that begs the question, did that happen on our house, and how often does it actually happen? All right, let me zoom in a little bit. All right, that's the back corner right there. So they are trying to get it level so they can get that back corner in place. Alright, let me zoom back out. Alright, they're getting the temporary up. So they have those railroad tie pieces. So they're just getting it up high enough to slide it in there. Then those railroad tie pieces, those definitely have the support to be able to hold these things. Alright, so they just put it back down, and there it goes. Alright, I'm going to stop, and then when they start doing something else, I'll start back up again. Alright, they got the jack on both sides. Let me zoom in a little bit. And so now they can set the house at will. So that jack is obviously designed for this purpose. So they just turned it off, so I mean the house looks like it's level, but we shall see. So they're in the process of getting the permanent foundations up now. Alright, they can get out of the way. Alright, there we go. Alright, let me zoom in. Alright, you see that right there? That's the corner of the dry stack. corners they put two 8x8 CMUs and make a 16x16, and then the mid ones they put in a regular 8x16. So that's what they did to our house. Oh, God. So let me come over here. So, alright, let me stop and get something in when they get something. Alright, looks like the fiasco of the house dropping is done because they're putting this septic tank truck back. So now they can drop the septic tank. And they want to get that thing as close as they can, obviously without the wheels going into the hole, because that would be not good, to say the least. So it looks like the wheels are about 2 feet. So it looks like they're going to keep them about 18 inches away, which is quite good. So now they get to lift the tank up, and they get to hoist it over. Trying to figure out if there's a better spot for me to be. I think this is the best spot for me to be. Well, looks like they're doing some fine tuning because that gantry crane can't move. Or I'm gonna call it a gantry crane because it goes sideways. I don't know what it exactly is. All right, so it looks like they got it in place. No? Maybe. Alright. Okay. Yeah, I don't even want to know how much that thing weighs. I'd play as much concrete as in that thing, probably at least 2 or 3 tons. But don't quote me on that. All they have to do is lift it up just enough to get it off the floor of the bed of the truck. And then they just slide it up. There it goes. Alright, good. Alright. It's going good. So, it's using a garden rake in order to keep it steady. That's pretty funny. Considering how heavy that thing is, that's how good it's actually plumb, weight distribution wise. Okay. Now it's slowly taking it down. Yeah, the winch probably has 1 speed, which is probably extra slow considering how heavy these things are. Okay, they got it almost to ground level. Okay, alright, below ground level. Alright. Almost halfway down. Now if this one's going to be like ours, the top of it's probably going to be about at grade level, which means they're going to have to just put dirt on top of it, but they can't really compact it too much because ours has been sitting over there. They installed it beginning of September, it was beginning of August when they installed it. So it's been sitting there for like 5 months now, and it's still very loose dirt over there because there's just no way to compact it, because anything heavy enough to compact it would break the top of the septic tank. Alright, so they're getting ready to set. Alright. So, looks like it's actually going to be up out of the ground a little bit. The reason for the height of it is you have to have a certain slope to get back to the drain field, because you have the old adage of stuff flows downhill. Well, the waste, I'll just call it solid waste for practical purposes. If the slope is too much, then it will go too fast, or the liquid part will go too fast, and it'll separate and it'll clog. And if the slope is too shallow, then it doesn't have enough oomph to go down the slope, and then it clogs. So there's a fine art to actually doing these waste lines where they have to be a certain slope within a certain parameter. So like I said earlier, I think it's 1/16 of an inch. It might be more than that. Like I said, don't quote me on that. That's what the transit and everything is for. So they're checking the height on that right now. And then they're coming back over here and they're gonna check the height. And there's two holes on the septic tank. One's to go in and one's to go out. So they're checking the hole to go out right now. Alright, if this takes too long, I'll just stop. So let's see what they do after this. Because they might get on the first shot, or they might have to do it for a while. They do this all the time, but it's still a crapshoot on getting these slopes right the first time. Alright. Alright, so alright, I'm gonna pause because I don't know if they're gonna be messing with it or what they're gonna be doing. Alright, they have it at the right height. I talked to the head guy for the septic part, and he said that it is a 1/16 fall, so 1 inch every 16 feet. And even though no solids are supposed to be in there, you still want to have it within the same tolerance as you would a regular sewer line. So what they're doing now is they're trying to get it level. Unfortunately, it's going to be above the ground, so we're going to have a little mound over here, which I'm sure everybody's not going to be happy with. But DHEC in South Carolina for septic tanks, they require the drain fields, which are over here, to the top of the drain field line has to be a certain distance below the ground. Like, you can't have it 4 feet below ground, for instance. It has to be a certain distance. And I don't remember what the depth is. I'm thinking it's like 12 or 16 inches. I know it's deep enough that you can be able to, you know, run a lawnmower over it, but you can't put anything heavy over it because it'll crush the drain lines. So, looks like they got it about where they want it. Looks level from here, but, you know, looks can be deceiving. So, I'm gonna see if I can figure out about how much it's above ground. Hold on a second. Alright, it looks like the top of the septic tank is about a foot above ground. So like I said, it's not ideal. They'll just pack dirt around it. But I mean, there's nothing we can do about it. Though Good thing about this property is it's extremely flat, because if you look at it, where those trees start over there, we own everything to the trees over here, and then we own all of this too, plus some of the woods back there. And there is a fall on the property, but it's like 2 or 4 feet over 600 or 700 feet, so it's not very much fall. So it's not dead flat, but it's pretty close to dead flat. And so that's great for a lot of things, except when it comes to something like this, because if you had a little bit of fall on the property, you would set the septic tank on the higher part, and then you put the drain field below it. But we don't have that option over here, so we end up with a situation like this. So what he's doing now, he's just filling up with the dirt for the septic tank, and I don't think they can cover it, because all this still has to get inspected. They want to have everything done today, so then they can have it inspected tomorrow. And then if it gets inspected and passes tomorrow, then they can turn around and finish it up. So I'll just let them do that for a while, then I'll touch back in a little bit. Wanted to show real quick what they're doing on top. Is he's putting some dirt on top, and then he's using the bucket to actually compact it down. I just went over to our septic tank, and most of it's actually firm enough to walk on, which is a lot better than what it was. So let me go over there real quick. Hold on. All right, here's where our septic tank is located, and as you can see, the dirt is mounded up a little bit. I think the top of our septic tank is about at grade level. So what they did is they put dirt on top of it, and it's been settling here for the last few months. That footprint right there I just did, so that area hasn't settled. This I did right after we moved in. I forgot the septic tank was here and just walked on it and about, fell in, so to speak. And so our septic tank is actually perpendicular to the house. So it comes out a few feet from the house. You can see that clean out right there. There's the center of the tank. And then it comes back this way. And then there's a pipe that comes right to where this is. And then it tees off and goes into the different lines. If they do the drain field properly, it goes to one first, and then if it fills up, then it goes to the next one, and then it fills up, so on and so forth. And so the water will come into the drain line, sit there, and then it will leach into the ground. The good thing here is we have sandy soil, which is really good for leaching. So our drain fields here don't have to be, they're big, but they don't have to be like ginormous size. If you had something that's a lot more impermeable when it comes to water, like clay, then the drain fields could easily be 3 or 4 times this size. But we don't have to worry about that over here. So, all right, take a quick look. So the front of the house, when it fell, did not move because they had railroad ties underneath the tongue. The tongue for this is fixed to the structure itself, so there's no way to get it off without welding it or whatever. So it's just a permanent fixture, because again, this was designed under the RV code, not the manufactured housing code. So everything's got to be as complicated as possible. So what they're doing now is that you can see the end ones here. You see that's a 16 by 16, and then you come on down, looks like they're about every 6-8 feet on center, and then all the middle ones are 8x16s, and then it's the same thing obviously on the other side. Our house, since it's a double wide, we have obviously two sets of that, because we have two main beams on each half, so we have 4 sets underneath. And one of these days I'm going to figure out how to actually pop those panels, and then we can actually go underneath, because the only time I was able to go underneath or look underneath was before they put the panels on. Alright, so they're messing with the drain line now, and alright, I will stop and see what they're going to do next.